Ooh, hello, hyperspace. My name is Davontos, and it's time to get hyped because this is some H1Z1 gameplay, and it's been a while since I come onto the mic, so I thought, why not come onto the mic and talk to you guys? And we're going to talk about something really interesting today because I was thinking, debating, calculating, and using all of my mind muscles, and I actually came to the conclusion that Fortnite, or Fartnite, as I like to call it, it's scamming a lot of people, and the sad thing is, most people don't even realize it. Now, you guys know I hate Fartnite, but I'm going to actually make a lot of references and just comparisons to Fartnite, H1Z1, maybe even the Blackout Call of Duty shit, but let's start off with H1Z1, right? H1Z1 came out on February of 2018. Yeah, that was when it was in the beta stages. And then just 6 months later, on August, it launched, it came out of the beta stages, and it became a full-fledged game. Now, you guys can even argue that it came out sometime on January for the closed beta on PlayStation, because I remember Daybreak Games was releasing certain codes to certain users that you can try the closed beta around January, and then February was the open beta, and the open beta stood for 6 months, and then come August, the full game came out. Now, granted, the full game still has some bugs that are like every other game has, you know, they can't launch 100% complete with everything perfectly. Everybody's going to exploit glitches and whatnot. But still, the game came out as a beta in February, and 6 months later, the game was complete. Now, let's talk about Blackout, right? So, we all know Call of Duty is in a 3-year development cycle, and within the 3 years, Treyarch they developed a battle royale. Now, granted, it's not the best battle royale. It has a lot of glitches and all that stuff, but it's still playable. I mean, because a lot of people play it. It's still playable. So, now let's actually get on to Fortnite. Ooh, mama! So, Fortnite came out roughly about 2.5 years ago. And they're still in early access. Oh, mama, you know what that means? It means that they scamming you, they slacking off, and they ain't doing shit. So, here's why. This is why they're scamming everybody. So, H1Z1, it took them 6 months to go from beta stage to complete launch full game stage. Call of Duty took the Blackout, let's use Blackout's version, it took them about 3 years to obviously put the game in alpha stages when they tested in a company, then the beta stages, which I don't think anybody played the beta, I'm not too sure. Yeah, they had early access beta stages. So yeah, they had some beta stages in Blackout, and then, 3 years later, when it was time for Black Ops 4 to come out, they launched with Blackout, which was, with a 3-year process. Here comes Fortnite, approaching that 3-year mark, and they're still in early access. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but it's different. It's not different. It's still a battle royale. It's not that hard. Just design a big map, which probably is the hardest part. Design a big map and all the balanced parts. Those are probably the 2 hardest. And then just make the map shrink every minute, every 1 minute, 50 seconds, 30 seconds, however long your smoke is, or your death plague, or whatever closes in that makes the map smaller. Just put it on a timer. It ain't that hard. And it closes in. If you're into death fog, you die. It's not that hard. Because all these other companies are doing it. Hell, there's actually a new battle royale coming out called Ram Royale, which looks like a watered-down Fortnite, but it's still coming out, and I bet you Ram Royale will come out, and Fortnite's still gonna be in its early access. Wait, okay, so you would think, we all know Fortnite is some kind of behemoth, right? It's just like the biggest battle royale in existence. They're making millions out of probably V-Bucks. And for those people who wind up buying the Save the World feature, because that's supposedly still in the beta stages. But so you buy the Save the World feature, which I believe in the US is $30, and then you have all those people who spend millions of dollars on V-Bucks. We all know how that goes. And with all that income and all that profit they're making from especially the V-Bucks, and for the few people who bought the Save the World feature, they still haven't completed the early access, or the beta, whatever you want to call it. It's still the same thing. Early access, beta, it's still the same thing. The game isn't complete. They had all this time, almost 3 years, to complete a game that has Overwatch-like kind of graphics, and they're still in the early access stages. So what the hell are they doing with all the money you give them from V-Bucks, and all the money they get from Save the World? They're just relaxing, sitting back, and just hugging up all your money. That's They're scamming so many people, and they don't even see it. And they over here, and I know you guys heard about this, they're making Fortnite toys, they made some Fortnite Halloween costumes, and obviously Fortnite's getting a profit for that because that's their product. So they get income from people who buy V-Bucks. They get income from people who buy the Save the World pack. They get income from all the toys that's probably going to be really hot this holiday season. And they got a lot of income from those Halloween costumes that were probably popular during the Halloween season. And, well, let's not mention anything else that Epic Games is probably associated with, that they're also getting income from that too. And they're still in the early access. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people who would defend Fortnite with their life, but let me ask you this. Before you say, you don't know how long it takes to make a video game, it's very difficult, let me actually bring up a simple topic. You guys heard of that game that launched for PlayStation, and I believe it's coming to Nintendo Switch as well, called Yooka-Laylee. That's basically the modern game of Banjo and Kazooie. So, let's jump into some numbers and talk about Yooka-Laylee. So, Yooka-Laylee came out on April of 2017, however, it was announced on, I forgot the month, but it was the year 2014. So let's count up 14, 15, 16, 17, that's 3 years. So within a 3-year process, they had to go through funding in order to complete the Yooka-Laylee process because it was a third-party studio and they didn't really want to be hired by big companies like Sony and whatnot. It's basically a whole third-party thing, you know, minor companies like WayForward and whatnot. They're sponsored by fans or major companies, and then they make the games for the major companies, which is why you find WayForward games like Shantae on Switch, and you have Shantae games on PlayStation because they're not really owned by anybody. That's the same thing that happened to WayForward. That's the same thing that happened to, what's the Yooka-Laylee? Yeah. So Yooka-Laylee had to be sponsored in order to make their Yooka-Laylee game project. So Playtech Games is the company that developed Yooka-Laylee. And with $1 million, they were, through funding, they were able to complete the Yooka-Laylee game and launch it about 3 years after its announcement. Now let's actually go back to Fortnite. So with Fortnite, we all know Fortnite making more than $1 million. And here's where the graphical capabilities come in. If you look at Yooka-Laylee's graphics and look at Fortnite graphics, they're roughly about the exact same thing. The exact same art style. Granted, they're different games, but the art style is almost identical. So if Yooka-Laylee is not going to have any graphical improvement, which costs a lot of money, to improve their game, and they're able to make a game like Yooka-Laylee the way it looks, with just $1 million, then what exactly is Fortnite doing with all of their millions that they're scamming from all of you? Oh, mama, but we are not done yet, my boy. Check this out. The biggest game company, or should I say the biggest video game that possibly ever happened, Super Smash Brothers. We're gonna touch on that. So, Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U and the 3DS, which was the last iteration before the one that came out for Switch, that came out on September of 2014, 4 years ago. And here we are, 4 years later, in 2018, and we already have the next iteration of Smash. Now granted, 4 years is a really long time, but here's why. Because Sakurai, the guy who's responsible for creating Super Smash, he has to get all of the copyright issues, all of the paperwork, basically get the okays from all of these game companies. So he has to get the okay from Pokemon to re-add Pikachu. He has to get the okay from Fire Emblem to include both iterations of Ike. He has to get the okay from Sony to include Solid Snake. And he just has to go back and forth from multiple companies to get the okay from, well, all of the companies to use their characters. And I'm not making this up. If you actually keep up with Sakurai when he's talking about Super Smash, he actually said, the guys at the Wii Fit studio wanted me to make some changes to the Wii Fit trainer, so I had to, because the Wii Fit trainer is their product. He said the same thing about Villager. I remember they said they wanted to give Villager a little bit of a neck for the Smash Bros. Switch, and he had to do it because the Villager belongs to the Animal Crossing series. Yeah, they all work for Nintendo, but it's different studios who make these games, so Sakurai has to get the okay from these people in order to include their character in his game. So Sakurai was able to do all of that with old fighters like Pichu and Snake, and bring in some new ones like Incineroar and Ridley and all that stuff, and he did that within a 4-year period. On top of that, he's working on DLC. On top of that, the game looks phenomenal. On top of that, they added all of the spirits, and obviously he had to get the okay from the spirits as well, because including a spirit, he has to get the copyright from the company to include their character in the game, whether they're playable or not. Their character is still in the game, so he had to get the okay for it. So he had to basically get the paperwork for thousands. I don't know how many spirits there are, but let's say there's thousands. He had to get the okay for thousands of characters. And make Smash Brothers look as it does now. Play as it does now, which plays very smooth, very fun, I hear. And it was just a very painstaking process. And man, the boy Sakurai, that man, he put a lot of work into it. Let the guy rest. You know, props to that man. He put a lot of work, and it's a great game. And he did it in 4 years. Props to that man. A trooper. Here comes Fortnite, approaching that same 4-year process with no third-party development. They ain't got to get the okay from nobody. It's just their game. But they're still stuck in the early access beta stages. they scamming your asses, and ain't nobody realize it. What the hell are they doing with all this time? And I assure you, if this Fortnite, the full game, were to ever launch, and if it were to ever come out of early access, I guarantee that it's basically going to be the exact same thing we have now, except the Save the World feature will be complete. And for those of you who do have the Save the World feature, it'll probably be just the exact same thing that you're playing now, maybe a little different, but other than that, it's going to be the exact same thing. This is what I mean. Fortnite is scamming so many people, and they're just slacking off on it. They're not making any progress with the game. Now, I know you guys are saying, oh, but they added boss battles like that whole Thanos shit after the Avengers movie, and they added new guns and all that. I was like, bro, it ain't that hard to add new guns. Call of Duty does it all the time, and they still get hate for it. But when Fortnite does it, it's okay. It's like, it don't flow like that. Call of Duty gives you new guns because it's not that hard to design new guns. You just gotta design the model of a gun, which these are game designers. It doesn't take that long to design one model of one gun. You just gotta implement the numbers. And as long as it's balanced, which there are a lot of mathematicians up there, it ain't that hard to balance the numbers to make it equivalent or very similar to another gun that's in the game. So it's not that hard. Fortnite's doing this, and it's easy. They added the Thanos thing, that's easy. Just make a Thanos model. People are making Thanos models all the time. You guys see the memes. It was like, Thanos ain't that hard to draw. Thanos ain't that hard to design on PC. It's all simple, easy stuff that Fortnite is doing. And they're not working on the full game, and if they are working on the full game, it's at a very, very slow rate. And it just makes you think, why is it taking them so long to make a game when they're getting millions and millions from the fans, from especially them V-Bucks, and they just don't complete the game because they're just sitting back, taking up all of your cash and ripping you off. So before I close the video, there's one more thing I want to touch on, because I know there's going to be some Fortnite fanatic and Fortnite fanboy and some dude who just can't get enough of Fortnite and wants to protect the game with their life and make it seem like it's not scamming anybody at all. I have this to say to you. If Call of Duty, Super Mario, what's a good one? Assassin's Creed, and what's another one? Yeah, back in the day, Guitar Hero. If those 4 development companies were making games every year, every single year you get a new Call of Duty. Every single year you get some type of Mario iteration, whether it be Mario Kart, Mario Party, any kind of Mario game. They all come out at least once a year. Back in the day, you used to get Guitar Hero. Back in the day, Guitar Hero was launching the way Call of Duty does every year. And same thing with Assassin's Creed. Back in the day, Assassin's Creed used to launch yearly, just like Call of Duty. They kind of slowed down now, but they were doing it back in the day. So, if those 4 game companies can actually make full-fledged games in 1 year's time, why is it taking Fortnite almost 3 years just to get out of the beta stages? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but Call of Duty is just a copy and paste. No, it's not. I mean, look at Modern Warfare 3. After Modern Warfare 3 came Treyarch, and then after Treyarch came Ghost. And Ghost in Modern Warfare 3 isn't a copy and paste. They actually play completely differently. So much so that the community loved Modern Warfare 3 but hated Ghosts because they said it felt completely different and it sucked. So what's up with Fortnite? My point exactly. They're scamming everybody. So if you like this video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me up on Twitter at DavantosMan. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day.